Hi, and welcome back to Can. So, this video is going to be a little different. I just wanted to come out here and sit in the sun. It's about maybe 30 or so. If you're here to just see some kitty cat footage, there will be cats, as you can see, but this is more than just the cats. I kind of wanted to talk about myself and where I live and why I do this crazy stuff and who I am. That's Linda right there that you're looking at. She is a cutie. It's not a professional style video, or I don't have drone footage or any kind of fancy editing stuff. This video is not for that. This is an honest, real life video, and I wanted to share it with you. So, I was thinking, why cats? Why do I like cats? Why do I try to save them, help them, make their lives better? It was a real process, sitting and really thinking and being honest, with myself, and just kind of trying to understand, because right now things are kind of hard, as y'all know, or maybe you don't know. I'm just kind of an older lady, and I live in this kind of beat up old trailer house, and I don't have a lot. I'm not definitely not rich, so why do I throw money at these animals that are just out here roaming? Why do I do this? Is it because I just love cats so much? I love the cats. I sure do. I wouldn't, I wouldn't be here doing this. That's part of it. That's only part of it. I think there's more to the honest answer. Why the cats? I'm not some crazy cat lady. I hate that stupid term. No, it's not that. As a matter of fact, I'm a former dog person. I used to groom dogs. I used to own my own grooming shop, and I was heavily involved in the dog world. So when I came here and switched gears to helping cats, I never really thought why. Oh, spicy. And I never really thought there was anything deeper than, well, these cats need help. But there is something deeper. I think cats, these particular cats, they don't have a person other than me. They live outside, they struggle, and they get sick and injured, and before we began TNR, I could only do 1 or 2, maybe 3 a year for spaying them, so the others that weren't lucky would inevitably breed. And that isn't my fault. I didn't put them here. And I was doing my best, but there was suffering. Now, am I doing this just to alleviate suffering? Well, yeah. that's important to my heart, But why? Why is it so important? Why is it the point of it all? And I guess it might sound really weird. I'm sure it doesn't make sense to a lot of folks. But I see so much of myself in this and in the cats. Maybe because they have a hard life too, My life hasn't exactly been smooth. I've had a lot of struggle in my 56 years. And I felt alone. Without a real person, somebody I connected to, and sometimes scared or angry, like these ferals. And I just needed somebody that wasn't scary to come and put their hand out and say, you can trust me and I'll show you that. And I'll be here every day, right on time, with my hand out. And sooner or later you're going to see I'm okay. And then when that happened, I started to think, well, maybe that can happen for others, Maybe I can be that person. So I started to do that. I started to gain their trust and show them that I could be trusted, that I could be that person for them. I can't make their lives all better. I can't fix everything wrong. But I can give them something they didn't have. So I suppose that's why I do this. Yeah, it's for them, but it's also for me. Part of a healing thing that helps me see that I am a good person. I deserved and deserve more than the hand that I was dealt. But that's not the focus. The focus should be that I can change that. Not just, for myself, but for someone else. They're not people, obviously. But their lives matter. Maybe not to some, because they don't see them as worthy. Maybe I felt like I was unworthy. That's a thought. In any case, I think it has a lot to do with who I am and who I want to be and what I see in them reflecting back. Trying to heal their lives helps me heal my life. I don't need, special expensive therapy to talk to another person who may or may not get it. I don't need to, burden others. I can work on this myself, and I do. And over the years I have. And I've gained a lot from that. They give me back what I give them. That's how it works. So, is it worth it? I'm not gonna lie, it's hella expensive. We wouldn't have to live in this crappy old trailer. My husband has a good job. Um, and yep, we've put a ton of money into what we do. It costs hundreds of dollars every month just to keep these cats fed. That's expensive. In today's economy, that's could potentially be devastating to a lot of folks, including us, if we're not careful. So, but it's the cost of it financially. The cost of not doing it emotionally and mentally versus the financial cost. Even if my nonprofit didn't exist, if I walked away from that, I would still do this on my own, just like I always did. Even if these particular cats weren't here, which has happened in the recent past, I would still do this. Even if there was one cat, I would still do this. Folks like to say, it's all about the cats. Well, is it? Is it really? No, not for me. It's also about me. So, it's kind of scary to put this in a public setting for folks to hear and judge. But I'm okay with that. I think it's important for people to dig down and find out what's really going on with themselves. You'd be surprised what you find. Like I said, I would have never thought, yes, cats are a lot like me. Cats that live in a colony outside with nothing are a lot like me. That sounds crazy. But there's a lot to be learned from them. Might sound stupid, but they have a lot to share, even though they don't really have anything physically. They still have lots to teach. I've learned a lot of lessons about taking care of yourself and how you can't take care of others when you don't take care of yourself. That's a recent lesson that I'm really being pushed to accept. Not pushed by any person or just by the situation I live in and how things are going in my life. So, very important lessons they can teach us. But you have to be there to listen. And you have to accept that even the most far-flung, crazy thoughts can have some merit, You just have to dig down and figure it out. Why am I doing this? What sense does it make? How did I get here? And why do I stay here? In this spot in my life? Those are some pretty deep questions, and this is a pretty deep video. And I'm sorry if that's not what you were prepared for. But that's what I'm gonna give you. So, I don't know. What do you see in cats? Like, I'm out here in my flip-flops in the freezing cold with these cats. It does seem kind of strange, doesn't it? Well, maybe it is. But I thought it was really important to share these thoughts, regardless of whether I had socks and shoes on. You never know who you might help. So I hope this video helps somebody, and that somebody can relate to what I'm talking about here. Not everything in life is obvious. I mean, maybe that's the whole point. If it was too obvious, how would we learn anything? Everything would just be simple, and there wouldn't be any unraveling. We wouldn't have to work to uncover anything. How boring. How pointless would that feel? So, that's why I'm doing this. Just to try to get a sense of why, and share that with other people. She should not be licking that ice, but I'm not going to stop her because we have the heat on in the catio. And if she gets too cold, she can come in there, and she knows. She knows. Yep, they have a lot to teach us. It's a strange thought. Abandoned, homeless cats. Cats born outside. They're cats. What could they possibly have to say to us? Turns out a lot. A lot if you listen. You know? Some are just completely untouchable. That one. That's Charlie. This is as close as he's ever gotten to me. Yeah. He's watching and listening. A lot like when I'm around people I don't know. I just watch and listen. I don't know who's there to hurt me, who's there to help me. Just have to sort it out. That's what he's doing. And the fact that he's done this for years, you would think he would know by now. But see, it doesn't have to be in your face. He doesn't have to run over here and rub on my legs and say, "Hiya, Dawn." Just him sitting there, keeping me company. Maybe I just need to be still. Maybe we all just need to sit for a minute. Be there for someone. Or sit for a minute and be there for ourselves. It's an important thought. Especially this time of year. We're all running around trying to get ready for holidays and all the craziness that comes with getting together with families and the pressure to give gifts and drain our finances and how are we gonna make the car payment and the house mortgage and all the stuff. What if we just sat still for a minute like Charlie? Wonder what would happen. So like I said, that's how I learned from the cats. And that's why I do what I do. Maybe it doesn't seem interesting to some folks, but it really helps me. There's Blingy. So, I don't know if this video was of any interest or if you have any thoughts or questions. Just drop me a comment. Maybe share this so other people can listen and maybe relate. Look at my shadow, it looks all crazy. I got a big old hood on and it's cold out, that's for sure. But I'm not afraid to sit out here in the cold and be a little chilly just to spend some time with them and sit with them and with myself and with you. So thanks for listening to my 22-minute ramble. You have a great day.